The sea was calm when they left the shore, but fear would soon rise where confidence once lived. What happens when Jesus is not in the boat and the storm still comes anyway? This is not just a miracle story. It is a mirror showing how faith reacts when control disappears. As evening fell, the disciples climbed into the boat and began crossing the Sea of Galilee toward Capernaum. Jesus had stayed behind, alone on the mountain. Darkness settled quickly. The shoreline faded. At first, the journey likely felt routine. These men were fishermen, familiar with the water, confident in their skills. But the wind began to rise. Waves pushed against the boat. The sea grew rough. John's Gospel tells us they had rowed several miles, straining against the storm, making little progress. This detail matters. They were not careless. They were obedient. Jesus had sent them ahead, yet obedience did not spare them from the storm. Many people believe that following God guarantees smooth waters, but Scripture repeatedly shows the opposite. Sometimes the storm comes precisely while you are doing what you were told to do. Faith is not proven when the sea is calm. It is revealed when the waves refuse to cooperate. As the wind howled and the boat rocked, exhaustion set in. Their arms burned from rowing. Their minds likely raced with doubt. Why wasn't Jesus here? Why would he send them out alone at night? Fear grows louder in the dark, especially when progress feels invisible. This is often how faith feels in real life. You keep moving, but nothing changes. You pray, but the wind does not stop. You obey, but the storm intensifies. Then something impossible appears. In the distance, they see a figure approaching, not from the shore, but from the water itself. At first, terror replaces confusion. A man walking on the sea violates every law they know. The waves that threaten their lives seem to support his feet. Fear multiplies. John's account is brief, but the emotion is heavy. They were afraid, and then Jesus speaks. "It is I, do not be afraid." In the original language, his words echo something deeper, "I am." The same divine identity spoken to Moses, now spoken into the storm. Jesus does not calm the sea immediately. He calms their fear first. This order matters. God often addresses who he is before he changes what surrounds you. Jesus walking on water is not merely a display of power over nature. It is a declaration of authority over chaos. In Scripture, the sea often represents disorder, danger, and forces beyond human control. By walking on it, Jesus shows that chaos does not threaten him. What overwhelms us is already under his feet. Notice something subtle. Jesus comes to them while they are struggling, not after they succeed. He does not wait for their strength to prove sufficient. He meets them in the middle of exhaustion. Many people wait to approach God until they feel stable, faithful, or strong enough. This story tells us Jesus approaches first. Grace walks toward weakness. When the disciples recognize him, they are willing to take him into the boat. Immediately, the boat reaches the shore they were heading toward. John doesn't describe the mechanics. He simply states the result. The destination is reached the moment Jesus is welcomed. This does not mean the journey never mattered. It means the struggle was not wasted. Sometimes God does not stop the storm. Sometimes he enters it, and his presence accomplishes what human effort could not. The disciples rowed for hours with little progress. Jesus steps in, and the journey ends. This is not a lesson against effort, but a revelation about dependence. There are limits to what strength alone can achieve. The next day, the crowd notices something strange. The disciples arrived without Jesus, yet now he is there. They cannot explain it. Boats were accounted for. The math doesn't work. They search for him, crossing the sea themselves. Miracles often create curiosity, but curiosity does not always mean faith. Some follow Jesus for answers, others for bread, others for signs. This moment connects directly to the feeding of the 5,000 that came before it. The crowd had eaten and were satisfied. Now they chase the one who provided. But Jesus knows the difference between hunger for truth and hunger for comfort. Walking on water shows his power. The coming discourse will challenge their motives. For the disciples, however, the lesson is more personal. They learn that Jesus sees them even when he is not physically with them. Matthew's Gospel adds that Jesus was praying on the mountain while they struggled on the sea. Distance does not mean absence. Silence does not mean indifference. How often do we assume God is far away because we cannot feel him? The disciples could not see Jesus at first, but he saw them the entire time. The timing of his arrival was not late. It was intentional. Faith grows not by avoiding fear, but by discovering who stands above it. Walking on water also reveals something about fear itself. Fear tells us the storm is ultimate. Jesus shows that God is ultimate. Fear focuses on the waves. Faith listens for the voice. Do not be afraid is not a denial of danger. It is an invitation to trust a greater reality. This story challenges the illusion of control. The disciples were skilled sailors, yet skill failed them. The sea did not respond to experience. In the same way, life often ignores our preparation. Education, planning, and effort matter, but they cannot command outcomes. Faith begins where control ends. Jesus does not rebuke them for fear. He reassures them. This is important. Fear is not the opposite of faith. Refusal to trust is. Fear can coexist with faith when faith chooses to listen anyway. The presence of fear does not disqualify you from God's help. There is also a quiet detail many miss. Jesus intended to pass by them. This echoes Old Testament language where God passes by to reveal his glory. What looks like a frightening interruption is actually a revelation. Sometimes God's glory arrives in unfamiliar forms, and fear blocks recognition. The disciples' willingness to receive Jesus into the boat marks a turning point. Faith is not just believing he is near, it is inviting him into your situation. Control yields to trust, resistance gives way to surrender, and suddenly the destination is closer than expected. For those watching this today, the storm may not be literal water. It may be uncertainty, loss, pressure, or waiting without answers. You may be rowing faithfully, yet feeling stuck. This story does not promise immediate calm. It promises presence, and presence changes everything. Jesus walking on water tells us that chaos is not final, fear is not sovereign, and faith is not foolish. It is grounded in who God is, not in what circumstances appear to be. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to your heart, please like the video, follow Holy Path Insights for more biblical reflections, and share this with someone who may be facing a storm today. Your support helps spread truth and encouragement to others walking their own journeys of faith.